Welcome back to Between Tantrums with Bridget and Kathy on the couch
On the couch with the tea.
with the tea. We have episode 2, and we've decided we're going to talk a little bit about the definition of parenting. So we're going to go a little bit geeky,
We are geeks.
and we're going to start off with the Oxford Dictionary definition of parenting.
Very generic. A little disappointing for Oxford, I thought. The process of caring for a child or children. If it was that simple, wouldn't that be?
Wouldn't that be
Wouldn't it be
fabulous?
marvellous?
Gosh, so straightforward.
So easy.
So then we went a little bit deeper and got a little bit more from ChatGPT. We asked what parenting means.
So they gave us a list of quite an extensive list, eight bullet points. The first being meeting core needs reliably. So I guess that's around physical and emotional well-being, nutrition, etc. Showing warmth and connection, loving your child, setting clear, fair boundaries, teaching, not just controlling. Not too sure about that controlling part there for my own personal beliefs. Being consistent, not perfect. I like that. Adapting to the child, modelling behaviour, and supporting growing independence. So that certainly fleshed it out a little bit more than the very simple definition from Oxford.
Yes, it certainly did. And so from that, we've had a little conversation around going back, as Kath put it, going back to the trenches when we had little people. So currently we have, in case you haven't heard the first podcast, we have
disappointing. I can subscribe.
We have an 18, a 16, a 15, and a 14-year-old.
Mine's 17.
Oh, 17, yeah, she is, of course.
Yeah.
I think you said that. 18, 17, 15, nearly 16, and 14.
Nearly 15, yeah.
Yeah, group of children between us. So it's been a while since we were in the trenches, but we both work closely with children now. I'm in the ECE centre, so I'm keenly involved in lots of little people's lives every day. And Kath has a nature-based teaching program called the Gully School, so also actively involved in slightly older children from 5 to 12 years. So we've just kind of talked a little bit about some of the
challenges.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be quite, I think we can be quite frank, because it is a really challenging time. It's stressful and hard, as well as beautiful and rewarding.
Absolutely.
It's all of those things, but
and not always necessarily counter-scale fear. Like there's not always enough great stuff to equally weigh the tough stuff. So we just had a little think about some of the things that we remember as being hard, or that we see being hard now for families. And the sleep deprivation is just massive. I think when you go from a life where you are before children and you have the ability to do what you want, when you want, for how long you want, to suddenly becoming a parent, and all of that independence just gone, is massively underrated. Added to which, you're sleep deprived and you're also trying to work out a little person's sleeping needs. So the sleep thing was really
it's huge, and you get a lot of conflicting opinions around how to resolve the sleep issues, that you should be responsive to your child or you should let them cry it out. So there's a whole new thing to navigate as a new parent. I remember feeling quite overwhelmed about wanting to do the right thing but not knowing what the right thing was. And all these older ladies would always say, you don't want to make a rod for your own back, you've got to put them down. And I was like, I don't want to. So it was that whole kind of just finding and sitting strong in what you wanted to do. It was challenging, really hard.
And then we talked about the massive change in lifestyle, again, when you're going from before children to having children, and how impacting that is. So we're going to talk a bit more about all of these things. But just the whole, like, we were saying, the whole ability to do what you want when you want, to suddenly having this little person that you're responsible for who's usually, not always, but very often greatly impacted your lifestyle. In the long run for the better, but sometimes in the short term it can feel like it's very challenging.
I remember someone saying to me, the days are long but the years are short. So when they're very little like that, it just feels relentless. And particularly if you're breastfeeding, you are the very important person in that little baby's life. So it can be quite constricting and almost suffocating to be so needed all the time when you just actually want to just perhaps have that autonomy back again. So it's navigating those periods of time.
And then, of course, there's the financial
Mm.
side of things that can be greatly impacted and often lessened. Often one of the people in the relationship is having to stand back from work for a while. And so that adds a whole nother level of stress and sometimes friction. Yeah. And the next one we've got is not being able to control everything. So some people, I know that I struggled with this. I thought I was going to have a little child, a baby, and everything was going to be textbook. And I'd spent years looking after other people's children, and I'd spent lots of time reading about babies and what they need, and then having a little baby and finding that
he hadn't read the book.
He hadn't read the book.
No.
And
it didn't come out.
Yeah.
Fully literate, reading exactly what he should be doing.
Yeah, and that whole sense of each day not knowing what it would bring and thinking, well, I'm a really organised person and therefore I should master this. I should be ace at this.
I can manage 30 kids.
Yeah.
A baby should be easy.
Yeah.
Nope.
It should be.
And I wonder sometimes too, as I'm reflecting on that in terms of how I was very much like that type A personality, organised, everything in a row. I wonder if my daughter was sent to me to challenge that idea and to make me realise that there is life in the grey. It's not always black and white.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this is, give me 30 kids.
Yeah, that's walk in the park. And the communication too. We had a little talk around communicating with your baby and understanding what they're trying to tell you, but also communicating with the significant other person in your life, your husband or your partner, and how that can change. And there can often be friction or tension where there previously wasn't, because everyone's sleep has been compromised often, and even if it hasn't, there's other factors that can be challenging. So that's something we want to acknowledge too.
And partners that are very capable fix-it guys can't always fix it, and they aren't really sure about where their role is in those early tap times, because you're kind of this feeding machine, and your partner's there wanting to help, but not quite sure how to, and you don't really know how they can help, and so that's challenging.
And then we were talking about the marketing that there is just constantly on people in so many forms. Social media is just full of it, and everyone's got their Instagram posts and their other social media that they're pouring out. They need the latest and the greatest, and there's this and there's that, and how do parents manage without this and that? And so we were talking about how we really need to just step back and not overcomplicate things, and what is it that our children and our babies need versus what is it that we're being marketed as being needed. So it's not really this episode isn't really advice, and this is what we reckon you should do. This is more of a snippet of where we are coming from. We're going to be looking a little bit at parenting styles too: the gentle, the permissive, consistent, the authoritarian. And our next steps in our podcast that we're focusing on, which we've made a list of, we're just going to, our next episode, we're going to be talking about boundaries. And then we're going to be talking about the power of no, our regulated little people and adults, and the power of hello. We're going to talk about some manners, and we're going to talk about you don't have to be friends, but you do need to be friendly. So we've got a few topics there which we'll be introducing, which really apply to our toddlers, preschoolers, and early years at school. And actually probably some of our older children as well.
Absolutely, because developmentally nothing is ever linear, is it? So some of our little people take longer to get to those different milestones, and that's cool.
And some of our older people are still getting there.
Some people are running countries that perhaps could do with a little bit of a
lesson around manners and boundaries. Yes, so we'll wrap it up there for today and come back with our episode episode around boundaries.
Perfect.